Yo, YouTube, what's going on? It's Ranger W here, coach of the San Antonio Sprouts, going up a good friend of mine, jayreezy, and the coach of the Houston Regirockets, and the SPL Week 3 matchup. So going into this match, we're riding high off of our win off of Matrix, aka Bacon King, from last week. We're rocking out with currently a 1-1 record. As you know, we lost Week 1 to Hero, aka Gladen Knight. And Jay is currently sitting not so good at 0-2, lost to Derpmons and Schmeb in the last 2 weeks. It's been a rough go at it for him so far. So we'll just see who's going to come out on top here. Looking at his matchup, it's quite evident to me that he looks like he's prepped pretty well for Mega Beedrill. Looking at it, I can already assume that the Pissimian is going to be Scarfed. Garchomp looks like it'll have some sort of bulk or something to take a hit from Mega Beedrill, and of course Fortress, which basically walls my Mega Beedrill. So I was kind of going into it thinking he would actually do that. That would be the case going into this match. He would over prep for Mega Beedrill, and as you can see, we decided not to bring Mega Beedrill this week. Instead, we're rocking out with Dragonium Z Garchomp, an AV Incineroar, leftovers Wish Passing Jolteon, Choice Scarf Terrakion, Lefties Shaman, and Specs Tapu Fini, just to put the damage and wall break his team. Looking at his team, I'm thinking he could lead either Pissimian, potentially with the Scarf U-turn potential. U-turning Tapu Koko is also a good option, or he could just want to set up his spikes and Volt Switch, or with his sturdy Fortress. So we'll just see how this battle goes. I'm going to hit that play button. So starting off, I knew I had to lead. I had to put pressure on his team right away. Basically, I knew that every time Tapu Fini came in, it would basically get a kill looking at his team. I'm rocking out with Surf, Moonblast, Defog, and Ice Beam. So I got 3 coverage moves to hit most of, if not all, his team actually at the moment. So basically that was my plan going into the battle, was to use this thing to just put a dent through his team, and that's exactly what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go for the Surf. It's going to do an insane amount of damage on Spin Sanded. He's going to get a Volt Switch off, and it's not going to do very much. Here, I was thinking he would go out into Tapu Fini, so we're going to switch out into Jolteon here, which is going to always be our check and counter to Tapu Koko. We are rocking a little bit of defense and special defense investment on this Jolteon here to take hits. As you know, we have Volt Absorb, so his electric type attacks will be doing nothing to us. I was thinking he could potentially Volt Switch on that turn, or U-turn, or Volt Switch on that turn with Tapu Koko. So I was thinking about staying in and clicking Surf, but it's not really worth doing that so early. And he's just going to click the U-turn. We're going to take a decent amount of damage. So he is revealed there. He is left Life Orb. And I'm not too worried about the damage we took, because as I mentioned before, we do have Wish. And we are rocking out with the leftovers. So I know we can always get back up to full health if need be. So he's going to go on his Licky Tongue. I'm confused about what this thing can do to me, because I know it can get Earthquake. I just wish I ran Protect this week to see what exactly he would go for. But instead, I'm going to go for a Toxic here. Just want a Toxic Licky. See, dwindle it down on his team. See if he has potentially Heal Bell on it, or any sort of berry that could get rid of the toxic effects. So he's just going to go for a Wish here. I'm thinking here I can definitely take him out here. I'm going to be getting Leftovers recovery every turn. My Thunderbolts are going to do a decent amount with the terrain, even though I'm not fully specially attack invested. So I'm going to go for Thunderbolt, see how much it does with a crit. It does 50%, not as much as damage as I wanted it to do. So he's just going to go for Seismic Toss here. What he's thinking right now is I'm going to dwindle this Jolteon down, even though it has lefties. I'm going to take its HP down just so it's easier to take care of later. But then I Wish up here, which I bet surprised him, and he's going to go for a Wish of his own. So we're back up at 51%, and he's just taking the toxic damage. So I know he's not going to want to stay in here too much longer, and he switches out into Pissimian, which from the get-go, I figured it could only be 2 variants. It could be Banded to put a dent through my team, or Scarf, which turned out to be Jolly Scarf Pissimian. So he's going to go into Scarf Pissimian, which I knew it was going to be either Scarf or Banded. So I really didn't want to take an Earthquake or any sort of shenanigans here. So I'm going to go into my Shaman here. knowing he could potentially hit me with the close combat or something. So he's going to get a crit of his own here. Going to drop his defenses. Very good for me that happens, but it's going to force him to switch out. And it's unfortunate that crit happened, but at the end of the day, it didn't really matter so much because we did get up back to full health. He's going to go out into his Blacephalon here, which I assume is rocking a fire type move, obviously. He wants to put pressure on my team with Shadow Ball. But you know, we're not going to have any of it. He's going to double out into Passimian, and he's going to get me good here. I'm going to go out into my Incineroar, which is my check/counter to any and all Blacephalon sets, knowing that it doesn't get a good move like Focus Blast or anything that can really put a dent in my Incineroar. He really played me well there. He's at +1 attack, and he is currently Scarfed, so not looking very good for me, but I'm going to go into my Shaman to take a hit. He's going to go for a U-turn, kind of surprising there. I kind of thought he would just click close combat or something. Maybe he didn't want to lock himself into that in case Tapu Fini came in or something. Kind of interesting there, because if he did go for a close combat, I'm pretty sure it would have done a decent amount. Obviously, going for the U-turn was still a good play just to get out of there and get a decent amount of damage on my Shaman. So right here, I know I can't really touch this thing because I do not have Seed Flare, which I believe would potentially kill from this range. I'm rocking out with Giga Drain, Hidden Power Ice, Leech Seed, and Synthesis. So I can't really do much to this, but obviously he doesn't know that, so he's going to go on to his Licky Licky. And I'm just going to go for the Leech Seed, which is a relatively safe play in case he goes down to anything on his team. I can get my Seeds up and gain HP. As you can see, we're already back up to 77, and this thing is facing with the Toxic and a Leech Seed. So I'm just going to switch into my Jolteon. He's going to go for a Wish here. I do not want him to get back his Fortress up to full health or halfway through. As we can see, it's weakened at a 20%, less than 20% health. So he's going to be taking damage from the Toxic, and instead he's just going to go out and Wish it into the Passimian. And here is where the game kind of turned to my favor after this Paralysis hacks here. As we know, Paralysis isn't a very common occurrence with a move like Thunderbolt. I believe it's only a 10% chance, but here we roll the dice and we do get the 10% chance of a Paralysis, which is very unfortunate for him as his Passimian is Scarfed. Matt Forte, one of the best running backs in Chicago Bears history. So he's going to get the Wish from the Licky Licky and back at full, and I'm going to go for a Wish of my own here. And over here he's going to misplay / overpredict, potentially me switching on to Shaman or Tapu Fini. I'm not entirely sure which one he was predicting there, because I could have probably went on to either one, but I'm pretty sure it was the Tapu Fini he was thinking I would go out into. So he misses the Gunk Shot, kind of unfortunate for him. Wouldn't have done too much to my Jolteon, but here I'm going to go out into Tapu Fini anyways, thinking he's not going to go for it again. He's going to want to switch out and protect and save his Passimian. So right here, we're just going to click Surf and take out his Fortress. Do a clean 25% health off of that Fortress. Another threat off the field. So he's going to go to Tapu Koko here. I was debating whether or not I should stay in at this point. Last time we were in this situation, he clicked U-turn. So if I click Surf here, which I am, of course, locked into, it could do a decent amount to anything on his team, potentially killing the Blacephalon if he opts to go out into it. Don't know why he would, and potentially taking out Yummy, the Licky Licky. So I'm just going to go into Jolteon, make the safe play, and ooh, he's going to not predict that. I guess he was just thinking, what? I just got to play it safe here, hits one in front of me, and he decided to hit the Jolteon with the Thunderbolt. Obviously, he thought it was a Tapu Fini, but we do switch out. Not a very good play on his part, just because I do have Garchomp. Obviously, I would never switch in my Garchomp on Tapu Koko, but I do have the Volt-absorbing Jolteon on my team as well. So he's going to go for the Dazzling Gleam here. It's going to do an okay amount, 32%. I know that he is mixed, since he is rocking with the U-turn. Or he could have some mixed potential, excuse me, I should say. So I'm going to go for the Toxic here, and just kind of dwindle this thing down over time. It's going to be losing a decent amount of health every turn. He's going to want to switch out of there with the U-turn, and not wanting to take any more toxic damage, but he will take a little bit of the U-turn chip damage from the Life Orb. So I'm just going to go for another Wish here. At this point, I'm thinking I got this game in the bag, but I want to play it safe so I could potentially get a good differential to win this game. I know it's too early to be thinking that I got the game in the bag. As you can see, it's only 6-5, but I was feeling pretty confident at this moment. I was just trying to preserve and play smart to guarantee the win. But over here, he's going to get Para-Haxed here, which is very unfortunate for him, but yeah, what can we do? It's part of the game, and it happens to everyone. So he's going to U-turn out of there, not wanting to deal with my shenanigans, wanting to get a little bit of chip damage off on my Shaman. So I'm just going to get my leftovers back, and we're going to be back up to 76%. He's going to try to make some plays here, maybe predicting me, and going out into his guard chop. He's at -1 attack. I figured he can't do much to me here, so I'm going to go out into, not wanting to take a Earthquake, I'm going to go out into my Shaman here, not wanting to play with him, and he's going to go for a substitute of his own. Here I was getting kind of worried because if he gets an SD up here and Mega Evolves, and it could get a little unpredictable to an extent. I will definitely lose something if he does end up playing around this the proper way. So we're just going to stay in here and click HP Ice to get rid of this sub, not wanting to deal with these shenanigans. As you guys may or may not know, there is no clause that says you have to Mega Evolve turn 1. So he could stay in this guard chomp with this faster, I believe it's base 102. I should probably know that, seeing as I have a guard chomp of my own. But he is at -1 attack, so I'm not too worried about taking these Fire Fangs. And the speed is not too big of a deal for me, since I am a relatively slow Shaman this week. So he's not going to want to stay in there with that minus attack and go out into his Passimian, which is still sitting pretty high up at full health from that wish it got from Licky earlier in the match. So I'm going to miss the Leech Seed there. It's kind of unfortunate, but at the same time, it's not that big of a deal either way. And I'm going to try to just take this thing down slowly by going for a Giga Drain, just to see how much I'll do to him. And it does a decent amount, but he's going to get Parahaxed again. It's unfortunate, but at the end of the day, I don't think it really mattered. Looking back at it, it would have really helped him potentially set himself up later in the game in a better position. But he's going to want to get out of there with the U-turn. But like I said, it happens to everyone. It happens to me every week. It happens to everyone to one degree or another. So he's going to go for a Brave Bird here. Here's where I realized he definitely has some sort of split investment, because he's rocking out with the Brave Bird, U-turn, and Dazzling Gleam and Thunderbolt, of course. The 2 stabs are on the special side, so he's got to be some sort of minus defense nature, one way or the other. So that Brave Bird's going to do a decent amount to me. I'm going to stay in there and click Giga Drain and gain some HP back and take out the Tapu Koko, another threat off the board. So we're just going to sit up here and suck up our leftovers and gain our HP. He's going to go into his guard chomp. I'm not going to want to stay in here and take anything that he has to hit me with a Fire Fang or something. So I'm going to predict the Fire Fang that he did go for earlier and go out into my Tapu Fini. We're going to take that like a champ. He's not going to want to stay in there. He's going to switch out and want to sack off his Passimian, which at this point is pretty much pointless. It's been kind of getting para-hacks throughout the match and not doing too well for him. So here's he's going to finally Mega Evolve and go for an Earthquake, which I knew I could live. And it's going to do a 50%, a decent amount of damage. So I'm just going to click Surf and just lower the HP of this Garchomp. And I'm going to switch out. I switched out because I wanted to preserve the differential. But obviously, looking back at it, I realized that this was probably the best play. Best play for me to make is to switch out. And I'm going to take a decent amount of HP from that Earthquake. We are not very HP or defense invested, and we're just going to click Dragonium Z. I'm going to try to nuke whatever comes in, and it doesn't do much to this Licky, only 36%. But I know I can just kill him here with an Earthquake that'll follow up. Licky, you are gone. So now he has 2 Pokemon left. I'm still worried about him potentially taking one of mine or 2 of my Pokemon with him. So we're going to have to try to play around this and try to do it in a very methodical manner. So we're going to go into Terrakion here. I figured he would go for some sort of fire move there or even a Shadow Ball or something. As I mentioned earlier, I am Scarfed, so I could just go for a Stone Edge, hoping we land the Stone Edge and take this thing out. So he's going to go for Calm Mind, just kind of doing whatever he can to potentially get a kill. And I'm going to be able to take him out with an Earthquake right there. And he's going to have to be forced to go out into his Garchomp here. I want to make the play go out into Incineroar, get the Intimidate off. -1 attack here. He's going to go for an Earthquake. It's going to do a decent amount of damage, obviously. It is a Garchomp, guys. And I'm just going to go back out into Terrakion. I know I can take this Earthquake now. I can take it and live. And we're just going to click Scarf Close Combat. And we're going to take out this Garchomp. Wow. Definitely, I think he over-prepped for Mega Beedrill looking at his team. I just think he could have probably prepped a little better by bringing something like Analytic, Life Orb, Starmie, which I had really no switch-ins for. As you guys know, Analytic, if the Pokemon goes last in the turn, the damage output is increased by, I believe, 30%. With the Life Orb, it's also added on top. So it's a decent amount of damage output that a Starmie would be able to do on my team with something like Psychic. Obviously, a Water-type move like Surf or Scald. Dazzling Gleam maybe, or Hidden Power, or Ice Beam obviously, and Rapid Spin or something. Just some sort of variation of that with Starmie would have been really good against my team. I feel like it's relatively fast, so you could have ran a Scarf or something, Life Orb, whatever. But yeah, definitely, I knew he would bring Scarf Pissimian, because that's obviously what you're going to bring. It's not even close to being 100 base speed. So just to give it that fast speed potential. But looking at his team, I think his prep was a little lackluster. I didn't think he brought the best sets. Like, I'm confused about why he did bring uh, Calm Mind Blacephalon. Looking at his base speed, I believe it's 107, and Terrakion is higher base speed with one base 108. So it was kind of weird that he would bring that, since my Terrakion, if I just ran max speed on it, it would always be able to Stone Edge or Earthquake or whatever um, and beat it. Looking at his team, I realized that his only spinner potentially he brought was Fortress, because Tapu Koko did not have Defog. So that was just something I noticed, and something that was interesting to note. And I believe he was played a little too passively with bringing Licky Licky with the Wish Pass. I feel like he could have brought obviously something like Starmie, which would have put more offensive pressure on my team. But either way, guys, I'm very happy with how we played. If you guys do like this video, please be sure to show it some love with the like button down below. As always, thank you, Jay, for the battle. If you are watching this, it was a very fun game. Yeah, I just want to say thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned next week for the power rankings / recap for week 3. See you guys in the next one. Peace.